Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome to another live. We're excited. It's always a good day to be among the land of the living. Whew, it's been a tough couple of days, and one thing about me is I'm rock steady. I'm gonna be steady in everything that I do, regardless of how life be life. And so some days you're not feeling your best. This is not one of my really good days, but we also know that the plants don't wait. They don't wait. With the storm headed our way and family on my mind, I'm still doing what is absolutely necessary. Today, that means up potting a little seedling to its next level. Let's go behind the scenes, and we're going to actually do this together. And I'm so excited to share with new beginners who are on this journey what steps I take and have taken to um, increase the capacity of growing my own economy. Welcome to the live. And so I'm going to be taking some steps, and I'm going to see if I can get, rolled out a little bit. I needed to pinch out a little bit. So I'm going to be showing you and explaining what I typically do when I am up potting some seedlings. Most recently, I have been preparing for some winter vegetables to plant in my garden. And one of the many that I am planting is a Swiss chard. So I got this package from the dollar store. So this just really just want to show you how easy it is to do this, because the seeds at the Dollar Tree were for $1.25. So you actually can get a variety, right? Hey there. um, no, I have to teach a little bit today, and so I want to make sure that my audience, really gets the meat of what we do here, and as we begin to build out our capacity in our community. So, just so you know, they have this heirloom variety. Now, they are not the currently do not have these because it's winter fall season, but here we grow 365 days. So just so you know, when spring hits, grab you some seeds. But there is still your your big box stores, and also your Lowe's may have still have some organic seeds, and also your nurseries. Your nurseries will have seeds as well, because some of them have their own stores. And if you're in our area, one of my favorite places is Plant and Seed Nursery. So we're going to be looking at some steps I took to plan out Swiss chard. Now let's look at these instructions first, though, because I want you to walk through the steps with you. Um, the the Swiss chard, as we look at the back of this package, um, we see that it shares here that the Swiss chard mixed colors have multicolored stems that brighten both vegetable and flower gardens with an attractive rainbow of colors. Now, this one grows in the winter, so I love that, we have vegetables that actually do grow. And if you look at the days to germination, it's 5 to 10, right? 5 to 10 days. You want a depth to sow is 3 to 3 fourths of an inch, and your seed spacing is 18 inches. The height of this plant is approximately 16 to 18 inches, and it also says days to maturity 30 to 60 days. So you can actually get a mature plant within a month. So that is why this is one of those crops that you actually want to grow, particularly when you are faced with a catastrophic storm like what we're faced with right now, Aaron, because In spite of what we do, we cannot predict what a hurricane would do, but you want to have in your arsenal some fast growing vegetables. It says here to sow these directly outdoors. I did not do that because I like to sow. I did sow them outdoors, but I sowed them in a pot. So you sow two seeds every 6 inches, but I grouped mine and I will show you what I did. Okay. So those are some of the basic information about this particular plant, Swiss chard. Here is the plant that I potted. I potted this maybe 2 weeks ago, and I just put a lot of seeds in the pot. I love to grow seedlings in a group. Now, that's not what the pot said, but I love to experiment. So, what we're going to be doing today is up potting one of these or two of these into a pot so that you can get an idea of how to pot up your plants. See, the seed has been potted in the pot. Now I have to up pot it because they're leggy. You see how leggy they are? That's why they tell you to grow it. And even though this was in my greenhouse, so it was reaching for the light, right? It was reaching for the light. But we like to experiment a little bit over here, so that's what we're gonna do. And this is for all my beginner people who want to learn how to grow their economy from the soil up. I'm glad you're here, or I'm glad that you discovered our video and that you are here now. So the first thing you want to do whenever you up pot is you, of course, want to check the roots. In this case, we are going to start taking some of these seedlings out. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to pour this pot out because in the checking of the roots, you usually are going to go ahead and you're going to take the whole pot out, and you usually only have one. But in this case, Swiss chard doesn't really like its roots disturbed, but we're going to dig around and see where they at, okay? And we see that we have one here, right? Now, this isn't the best one, but it might be the best one for us to up pot. And the reason why is because it doesn't have a long leg, right? So it may be actually the best one, but we're going to take a look at some of the other seedlings and then we'll make a choice. All right. So we have one. We're going to just loosen the dirt because this is some really good soil. And if you didn't know, I utilize for a mixture, a natural and organic seed starting mix. That's not a promotion. That's just what I use. And so I believe in sharing with you my processes, right? So that's another one. So we have approximately 10 seedlings in here. Some are going to be weaker than others. Some are going to be strong. Now, this is a strong seedling. This one is strong. I think this is probably going to be the one that we use because this particular pot is deep enough for us to get this going. Okay. Now, we're just going to get the rest of these out of here because all of them need to be potted up. But we're going to just do one for this particular live. And then I will later plant these in the garden, right? Or in a garden in a bigger bag, in a bag, because I like to plant in bags. And so we're separating and checking our seedlings, right? We're checking our root systems. We're going to lay them out because of the way I'm growing. This is my method. It may not be someone else's. It just happens to be mine, and I do very well. And the thing about it is I take my plants to market, so these will be potted up for some other people, right? So that's why I like to pot in groups, because I like to then prepare, single pots or cups to give to my community, so that they too, because this is really all about community, right? Really all about community and what we can do to help each other to grow our home economies. Now, Swiss chard is a great vegetable to have. One, because it's a quick grower. to it. You can use it in your salads. You can eat it raw. Most of God's food you can eat raw. And one of the things that I'm accustomed to is eating raw food because that's the way it grew out of the ground. That's the food that's best for us. And as you can see, our plants have a lot of beautiful roots, right? So we have quite a few plants. But we're going to pot up one of these just for the sake of this live. And the rest of them I'm going to pot into little white cups and watch them grow so that I can give them to my community members because we share. Sharing is caring. All right, so that is all the plants I've gotten out of this. Well, here's another one was trying to come up. So there were a lot of seeds. I don't think they were finished. They were actually finished, but as you can see, you want to have some things ready when you are preparing. I'm just going through the soil to see if there's anything else. Usually I will use gloves, but today we are getting down in here in this soil and we're just going to get dirty. These trays I bought from Tamu because I do a lot of microgreen planting, but you don't have to use these. Are they good? Absolutely, because the straining they have, you can get out bad soil. You can strain soil that may not be so good and get rid of some of the and get the good soil on the bottom. So, and you can use these also for microgreens. So today, again, I pointed out that we have several seedlings, and today for this live, we are going to choose one of them. All right. So I'm going to move these to the side for potting in some cups, and I will do another probably show you a picture of what I'm going to do. I have another a pot that I have prepared right here with the same mixture of soil. Now, what I also want to remind you of is that I don't just use seed starting mix. I will also put in my fertilizer some perlite and some vermiculite. And vermiculite helps the plant to maintain its moisture, and perlite aerates the soil so that it stays air, that it has air in within the soil. It doesn't become compacted. So what I usually take is a little. This is really something I have for my hair, but now I use it for the soil. And be okay with getting your hands dirty. I have nails and they get dirty, but they also get clean. I go and wash them out. So what I typically do is I want to put this into the soil, but I want to put it into to up to its maybe a little bit right here. It's got its true leaves already, or a couple of its true leaves. So we're going to go ahead and pot this as deep as we can pot it, because we want to give it some room. We want to get rid of the legginess, and we want to give it, um, you know, a good strong base and place to grow. We will pull the soil back up around it. These pots, by the way, I want to tell you, I also got from Dollar Tree. You do not have to use them, but it's a good deal to have these on hand at your house when you're growing. Just, when you get the money or you stop by there and you see them, buy extra stuff. This is a really good time actually to be buying, while things are on sale. Maybe not Dollar Tree. Maybe check out your family dollars, your family general, your family dollar, your Dollar General. There are a lot of stores that have a lot of things on sale right now, especially pots. So you want to keep your eye out on the um, the things that are on sale right now, because a lot of people don't plant in the winter. They will plant in the spring. They think that it's just about spring, but these vegetables grow in the winter. So we want to be growing 365 days. So my plant now has a good potting It's got great soil that I prepared, pre-prepared. You know, when I planted the seed, and I potted it initially, grouped them together, I had already prepared additional soil for my plants to be transferred. So this is that soil that has been prepared. It's always good to be ready and to be prepared. And the next thing you want to do is to give it some water. This actually is quite moist. I planted this in a pot that has, you want to plant in pots that have the ability to drain, because otherwise your plants may get root rot. I want to encourage you, when you are thinking about, for every seed, for every seed you or plant that you plan to grow, study your plant so that you know what you're growing, how to care for it, because some plants like water, some do not. Chard really does it. You put it in the ground, it does its thing. It doesn't like heat too much. Even though I grew some in the summer, it doesn't like it too much. It really likes to grow in the fall. So in the fall and winter. So we're going to give it a little bit of water, just a little bit here. So you always want to give it, if you know, give your plant some water. Give it some water to thrive. And as you can see, because it's so moist here, you see the water is already coming out. So you want to, it is moist. So we're just going to give it a little, because we just changed its environment, right? So you want to give it a little bit of water. These are some practical tips, and I hope that these insider tips have helped you, to for those of you who are beginners in this space. I hope that these tips will help you, as you are thinking about preparing for growing your own economy. And we're going to talk about some next steps for you. The one of the things that I want you to remember, that just like life, a seed will outgrow its space, and you have to up pot it, right? Just like seeds, sometimes we outgrow where we are, and making space for our roots to stretch keeps growth alive, right? It keeps growth alive. Here we align with the wisdom of what God is teaching us in the garden. Remember this also, and I know y'all hear the cockadoodle in the bag. We raise chickens and everything. We do not have a rooster, but my neighbor does. I want to say that even with the storms coming, storms, whether it's Aaron, whether it's hurricane, whether it's life, and life feeling heavy, which it does for me right now, these little steps, like up potting, remind me that growth doesn't wait. It does not wait. We make room, and things keep going. Take this as a reminder. Support your own roots. All right? Make sure you're supporting your own roots too, and that they are healthy roots. You don't want to have roots that look like that of the sycamore tree. You want to have healthy roots. Sometimes all it takes is a bigger pot and a little care. I do want to say that if this helped you, like, hit the like, subscribe, and the share it with someone else who's growing through their own storm, right? And join me here next time as we keep building our home economies from the soil up. This is Dr. Eve reminding you that every seed counts and every step grows. Have the most amazing day, and whatever you do, don't let anyone get in the way on your journey to becoming who God has called you to become in this season. Bye for now.